Web development, data science, app development, data analytics, machine learning, cybersecurity, IT, and so on. There's so many different career paths within technology that it can be almost overwhelming. I mean, how do you make a choice on which one to pursue? If you're slightly disoriented with the amount of choices that are in front of you, this video is for you because we will look at some of the hottest career paths, career directions, and what they entail so that you can see which one feels right for you. And I'll also share an awesome quiz that will help you determine which career path is better for you if you're torn between some of them. Before we get into it, I want to thank Lambda School for sponsoring this video. If you haven't heard about Lambda, they're an amazing school that's rethinking coding education. They provide their students with a live, immersive learning experience that prepares them for a job in technology. And their tuition plans are pretty awesome, where students don't have to pay anything up front until they get a job that pays them at least $50,000 a year, which promotes diversity in the industry, and I absolutely love that. I'll tell you more about it and the types of programs that they offer later in the video. Learn more about Lambda School using that link in my description. And without further ado, let's look at some of the top career paths in technology that you might be deciding between. And the first career path that we're going to look at is web development. Web development is essentially building software for the web as opposed to mobile or desktop applications. And you can narrow it down further into front-end, back-end, or full-stack development. I have a separate video on front-end versus back-end development in case if you're not familiar with the topic. So you can go and watch that video once you're done with this one. I will leave a link to it in the description. And full-stack development essentially means combining both front-end and back-end development. There's a huge demand for web developers as the number of businesses offering their online services, think about all of those platforms and those web apps that you may have interacted with today, as the number of those increases, so does the demand for web developers because somebody has to build them, right? So if this is something that sounds good to you, that you think you will enjoy on a day-to-day basis, it's a great career choice because there's just so much room for growth and opportunity within this field. And at the end of the video, I'll talk about Lambda's full stack web development program. So if you're interested in this field, in this career path, stay tuned. Career path number 2 is software engineering. Software engineers and software developers may sound similar, but they're not the same. Programming and developing may be used as an umbrella term for what these professionals do, but software engineers require much more advanced mathematical knowledge and programming experience. Software engineers go through a much more in-depth training that enables them to build software at scale. They have a much more systematic approach to it. They're also sometimes called software architects because they think through the framework of the software, making sure that it works in a bigger picture. And that's why they have the engineer in the title. Career path number 3 is data science. Data scientists work with data, but on a much deeper level than data analysts. Data science requires algebra and statistics skills along with coding skills. And the programming languages that a data scientist would use are those that enable them to access databases, analyze and manipulate data, as well as build models and visualizations. Their goal is to extract insights that will help the company to see trends, plan for the future, or make big business decisions. And as the amount of data that we're accumulating every single day grows, I mean, think about how much information you've probably shared with companies just today already, and then this week, and then this month, this year. That's a lot of data. So as that amount of data is growing, the demand for data scientists, someone who will actually make sense of it all, will of course grow. So yeah, these professionals are highly in demand. And if you're interested in things like machine learning and artificial intelligence, this could be a great entry point into the industry. Lambda School also offers a program in data science, which I will tell you all about later in the video. Career path in technology number 4 is mobile app development. We've already talked about how web applications and desktop applications are different from each other. Well, now it's time to talk about mobile applications. Of course, this is a different animal, completely different animal. And depending on what you want to build, especially if you want to build truly native apps that work, and feel native to the different operating systems that there are, like Android and iOS, you will need to learn specific languages that work for those operating systems. If you want to build apps for iOS or Apple devices, you should learn Swift. And if you want to specialize in Android mobile app development, then it's Kotlin or Java. And a lot of times you will see mobile app developers specializing in one or the other just because there's so much to learn. So you will see courses that are specifically geared towards the different operating system and the different languages that are required for them. However, there are also frameworks that enable you to develop mobile applications using languages like JavaScript or Python. Of course, these applications wouldn't have the same native feel as the ones if you would be designing in one language or the other that are designed specifically for those operating systems. However, this gives you the flexibility in case if you're switching to mobile app development from a different field within technology, having the background in JavaScript or Python, for example, or the other way around. If you focus on those frameworks when building mobile applications and then you want to switch out of the field and you already have a knowledge of these languages. Career path number 5 is IT. If electronics and networks are your thing, this could be a great entry point into the industry. As with most of the directions I'm listing in this video, this general career path will have multiple sub-directions that you can take and the different branches in which you can branch out, and it's just impossible to list them all. But their general goal is to make sure that all of the devices within an organization are communicating or, working smoothly, essentially. Not or, and. It's an and situation. IT teams provide technical support and maintain networks and computer systems in an organization. Not only is it a great pathway into technology, but you also get to learn how devices really work and communicate with each other, which could be great hands-on experience if you want to transfer into the next field that I want to talk about, which is number 6, cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is an awesome field with a huge shortage of talent. It's very dynamic, constantly evolving, constantly trying to catch up and stay ahead of potential threats that keep popping up out of everywhere as technology is evolving and more vulnerabilities are being created or discovered. There are many different roles within this field too, but as a general rule, your goal is to protect your company from cyber threats, whether by planning and creating systems to minimize risks and protect the company ahead of an attack, by activating certain systems during an attack, or by carrying out digital forensic investigations once the attack has taken place to see what they did, how they got into it, and therefore passing the information over to the people who plan ahead and create systems that are protective. There's also this concept of Team Red, where you're poking holes in the system, pretending to be a bad guy, and then basically looking for vulnerabilities, and then passing on that information to the team that is planning all of the protection systems and all that stuff so that they can patch up those vulnerabilities and be prepared for the actual bad guys when they show up. I have a separate video on how you can get into cybersecurity, which I will leave in the description. So there you have it, some of the hottest career directions within technology. If something felt right as I was describing it, I highly recommend looking further into it, researching it from what is required to finding people who are in the industry, who are in those roles, in those positions, in doing that every single day and following them on social media. There's so much content about, the day in the life of, or you can just follow somebody's experience on social media as they are performing that role. And you can also reach out to them and ask them questions. I also have a separate video on how to pick the right coding program. So once you've decided what to do, how to pick the right coding program and what variables to consider, which I will leave a link to in the description as well. And if you're still torn, then I have an awesome quiz for you. Guess where the link is going to be? You've guessed it, it's in the description. This quiz is by Lambda School and it helps you decide which direction is better for you, full stack web development or data science. Again, the link is in my description. Once you're done with that quiz, make sure to come back to this video and let me know in the comments which result you ended up getting. And now let's talk about Lambda School. I love their approach to coding education because their goal is to prepare their students to be valuable team members from day one at a new job. They're doing things differently, offering programs that are distinct from a bootcamp or university degree, focusing on the outcomes and namely on your job readiness. As I've already mentioned, they offer programs in 2 career paths, in data science and in full stack web development. And their programs offer much more in-depth experience in various modern programming languages than most of the bootcamps that you will find, and even some of the computer science degrees that you can be in student debt for. And there are 4 tuition plans, one of them being ISA, once you graduate and get a job that pays you at least $50,000 a year. And this is huge because this opens up opportunities in technology for people who can't afford the upfront payment that is associated with a bootcamp or a university degree, which promotes diversity in tech, and that is amazing. In fact, I was interviewing a Lambda School alumni, I will leave a link to that video in the description, and she said that their student population represents the demographics of the US much more closely. And they don't stop at just admissions. They make sure that those diverse candidates get hired and stay within the industry by developing their soft skills and good habits like self-care. I was incredibly impressed by what that alumni had to say. I hope this helps you with your decision on which direction within technology to take. And there's so many different options, so many different things you just need to explore. And I really hope that you find something that really excites you and lights you up every single day, because what's the point otherwise, right? We're doing this so that we can enjoy our day-to-day life. Let me know in the comments which direction sounds the most interesting and the most exciting to you, and what you get on that quiz, which again, the link is in the description to that quiz. I'm super curious about your results. Let me know. Like this video if you've enjoyed it, and share it with a friend who is currently trying to decide which direction in technology to take. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't already, and turn on those bell notifications so that you know when a new video is published, that you can go and watch it. We can also be friends on other social media. You can find me as Coding Blonde. Have a wonderful time of the day you're currently experiencing. Bye.